Have you ever been in a situation where someone asks you a question and it feels like your brain just, well, it freezes?
Oh, absolutely. That moment of panic.
Yeah, and then maybe 5 minutes later, you think of the perfect, brilliant response.
It was way too late. The moment's gone.
Exactly. Well, that's precisely what we're diving into today. This deep dive is built specifically around your sources on effective communication under pressure. And our mission really is to pull out the most powerful, actionable strategies to help you close that gap between, reacting and actually responding.
That's the key difference.
We're talking about how to stay calm, think clearly, and speak effectively, even when the stakes feel really high.
Okay.
Okay, let's unpack this.
You've hit on the core challenge right there.
Huh.
I mean, the fundamental reason our minds often go blank or we struggle to think fast, it really comes down to stress.
Stress. Okay.
Yeah. When you're in one of those high-pressure scenarios, maybe public speaking, a job interview, even a heated discussion, your brain isn't really focused on crafting, eloquent responses.
Right, it's just trying to survive.
Exactly. As your sources detail, it often shifts into what's called survival mode.
Ah.
This is your amygdala kicking in, basically.
Yeah.
And it can actually hijack the prefrontal cortex.
Which is the thinking part.
That's the part responsible for executive functions. Yeah. Clear thinking, verbal fluency, all that.
So it just gets shut down.
Pretty much.
Ready.
And that leads to that anxiety, that awful mind-going blank feeling we all know. So the crucial first step, really, to speaking smart is learning how to regain that calm.
Okay, calm first.
And what's truly fascinating here, and something your materials really emphasize, is that thinking fast isn't about speaking at lightning speed.
No.
No, it's about keeping your mind clear and accessible, even when the pressure is definitely on.
That makes so much sense, understanding the why behind it. So, okay, if our brains are sort of wired to react this way under stress, how do we actively train ourselves to, think fast and speak smart anyway? We've pulled some really practical techniques directly from the research you shared.
Absolutely. And the first one, maybe the most overlooked technique our sources highlight, is simply to pause and breathe.
Pause and breathe. Okay. Seems simple.
It does, but think about it. The instinct for most people is to fill the silence immediately, right?
Totally. Silence feels awkward.
But great communicators, those people who seem to respond so effortlessly under pressure, they often take a brief pause.
How brief?
We're talking maybe 2 to 3 seconds. Not long at all.
Okay.
And this short pause, it isn't just a mental reset. Your sources show that even this brief moment, if you combine it with a deep breath.
Ah, the breathing part.
Yeah, it can literally slow your heart rate.
Yeah.
It sends signals to your brain that it's safe, reduces cortisol levels, and lets your prefrontal cortex, get back online.
So it's like a physiological hack.
Exactly. It helps you regain control.
It's so counterintuitive, though, because we feel like we have to speak immediately, but the science is there.
It is.
So if someone feels that overwhelming urge to respond instantly, how do they practically do that pause? And building on that idea of buying time, the next technique is using buffer phrases.
Right.
Now, I've often worried these can sound a bit evasive, What do your sources say about using them effectively?
That's a great question, and it's a really critical nuance our sources address.
Okay.
The best buffer phrases, they aren't really about stalling or sounding unprepared. They're more about maintaining engagement while buying yourself precious seconds to actually organize your thoughts.
Ah, okay. So maintaining engagement is key.
Definitely. Phrases like, that's a good question, or maybe, let me think about that for a moment. Or even, interesting point, here's how I see it.
Right.
The key, as the research you provided really points out, is to deliver them with confidence and genuine engagement.
Not just dead air while you panic.
Exactly. You're signaling that you're considering the question, not just avoiding it. They subtly shift the pressure from needing an immediate verbal dump to offering a thoughtful, considered response.
I can see how that adds confidence for you as the speaker and builds trust for the listener, too. And, okay, so once you've bought that little bit of time, your sources introduce a pretty powerful structural technique. Thinking in headlines.
Yes.
But what if a point is really complex? I mean, can it really be boiled down to a single headline? Does this still apply?
It absolutely does, yeah. Thinking in headlines doesn't mean oversimplifying. It means starting your response with the most important takeaway.
The core message.
Exactly. A strong summary or your key idea, much like a newspaper headline, kind of draws you in. It's about getting clarity and impact right from the start.
Okay.
Your research shows that people process information much more effectively when they get the main point up front.
It gives them a framework.
Precisely. So, even with complexity, you might start by saying, the core challenge here is scalability. Or maybe, my primary concern revolves around resource allocation.
Instead of just rambling towards the point.
Exactly. Instead of, well, I think it's because, maybe. You could say, the main reason we're seeing this trend is market saturation. Without addressing that, nothing else really works.
Oh, okay.
Gives you immediate structure, it signals confidence, and honestly, it makes it incredibly easy for your listener to follow, even before you dive into all the details.
That's a brilliant way to make complex ideas digestible right off the bat. And speaking of structure, another technique your sources highlight is the rule of three.
Yes, the classic rule of three.
What makes this particular structure so effective, especially in impromptu situations?
Well, the rule of three is kind of like a cognitive shortcut. It seems to be deeply embedded in how we naturally process information.
Really? How so?
Your sources point out that we humans tend to find information presented in threes more satisfying, more memorable, and frankly, more convincing.
Huh. Like beginning, middle, end.
Exactly. Think about famous speeches, storytelling. There's often that pattern. 3 key points, 3 acts.
Right, right.
So when you're making a point on the spot, structuring it into 3 clear parts, like there are 3 things we should consider: time, budget, and quality.
Yeah.
It makes you sound incredibly organized and articulate.
Even if you just came up with them.
Even if you just thought of those 3 points seconds ago, it gives your message a kind of natural rhythm and a sense of completeness.
That really streamlines things. Okay, now, this next one I find particularly interesting. Practicing thinking under pressure through improvisation.
Improv.
I once tried explaining a stapler as like a miniature robot that binds paper together, and it really forced my brain to think differently. Is that the kind of thing?
That's a fantastic example. That's exactly what we mean.
Okay.
Improvisation is absolutely a trainable skill, and your sources provide some really practical exercises.
Yeah.
It's not about trying to be a comedian on stage.
Right, not stand up.
No, it's about building mental agility. So when you take a random object, like your stapler, and explain its use in 3 different ways, or maybe pick a random word and turn it into a short story.
You're stretching your brain.
You're literally forging new neural pathways. You're forcing your brain to make rapid connections, retrieve information, and generate novel ideas on the fly.
Huh.
And what's really powerful here is that your sources suggest even dedicating just 5 minutes a day.
5 minutes?
Yeah, just talking to yourself about random topics or describing the objects around you can significantly improve your quick thinking skills. It makes you more adaptable in those unexpected conversations.
So it's like a daily mental workout, a little brain gym session.
Precisely.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, and if you find yourself needing even more time or maybe more clarity in the moment, your sources offer another tactical gem: ask clarifying questions.
Yes, very useful.
How do these questions not only buy you time, but also make sure you're actually answering the right thing?
This is such a powerful technique because it serves that dual purpose you mentioned.
Okay.
By asking a simple clarifying question, something like, can you clarify what you mean by X? Or are you asking about the technical part or maybe the business side? You immediately gain more information.
Which is always good.
Always. It reduces ambiguity and helps you formulate a much more precise response. And crucially, as your research highlights, it also gives you those few extra seconds to think.
More thinking time.
Yeah, you process the incoming information, you organize your thoughts, and all the while you're demonstrating that you're actively listening and engaged.
So it turns a potential trap into more of a dialogue.
Exactly, becomes collaborative.
It's essentially turning the conversation into a collaborative effort to find the right answer.
Okay.
And tying into this whole idea that thinking fast isn't necessarily about speed.
Right.
Your materials also recommend actually slowing down your speaking speed. Now, that seems counterintuitive if you're trying to think fast.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the most surprising insights from your sources.
Yeah.
In fact, thinking fast doesn't mean speaking fast.
Yeah.
Not at all. When you deliberately speak, just slightly slower.
Just a bit.
Yeah, maybe a touch slower than your normal pace. You're actually giving your brain more processing time.
Ah, okay. Time to form the next sentence.
Exactly. Retrieve the right words, organize your thoughts sequentially, and not only does this improve your internal processing, but externally, it makes you sound far more confident, more authoritative, and just generally more in control.
Which is the opposite of someone rushing and sounding flustered.
Precisely. It's a subtle shift, but it has a powerful impact on perception and your own mental performance.
It really circles back to that initial idea, doesn't it? Staying calm and collected.
It all connects.
And finally, maybe the most foundational tip for smart communication, and it's highlighted throughout your sources: listen more than you speak. We hear this advice all the time, but what does truly effective listening look like when you're under pressure?
This is absolutely paramount. You see, the temptation under pressure is often to anticipate your turn to speak. Right.
Yeah, you're already forming your reply in your head.
Exactly. You're formulating your response while the other person is still talking. But as your materials really underscore, truly effective listening isn't just waiting for a gap to jump in.
It's listening to understand.
Precisely. It means tuning into not just the words, but the context, maybe the underlying concerns, even the unstated questions sometimes.
Reading between the lines a bit.
Yeah. And the deeper your comprehension of the question or the situation, the more precisely and intelligently you can respond. It's like building a mental map of what's actually being asked, which then allows for a much more targeted and effective answer rather than just a generic one. So what does all this mean for you listening?
Let's boil it down.
Okay, so to quickly recap the key insights we pulled from your sources today. First, start by cultivating calm. That simple pause, that deliberate breath, it's foundational.
Pause and breathe. Got it.
Then, skillfully use those buffer phrases. They buy you time while keeping you engaged.
Buys thinking time.
Practice thinking in headlines. Lead with your strongest point for clarity and impact.
Headlines first.
Structure your ideas using the rule of 3. It helps with memorability and makes you sound organized.
Rule of 3 for structure.
Actively train your brain. Small, daily improvisation exercises build that crucial mental agility.
Brain gym.
Master the art of asking clarifying questions. You gain information and more thinking time.
Ask questions. Good ones.
Remember to deliberately slow down your speaking speed. It enhances both your clarity and your perceived confidence.
Slow down to speed up thinking. Makes sense.
And finally, commit to listening deeply. Not just listening to reply, but listening to truly understand.
Listen to understand. Crucial.
That's the core toolkit.
And here's something really important to remember from all of this research we've looked at. You don't have to be perfect.
Absolutely not.
You just need to aim for being clear, being calm, and being present in the conversation.
That's the goal.
People, as your sources strongly suggest, actually appreciate honest, thoughtful answers far more than just fast ones.
Authenticity matters.
Yeah. So ultimately, thinking fast isn't really about knowing everything off the top of your head. It's more about handling the unknown with confidence and, well, a bit of grace.
Handling the unknown.
And that confidence, as your materials clearly demonstrate, is absolutely a skill. It's something anyone can learn, including you.
Definitely learnable.
You don't need to speak fast, you just need to speak smart.